This is an article from the Reformed Presbyterian, published in October of 1838, entitled Communion of the Saints, a continuation of an older article. To display his truth, his laws, his crown, which constitute the banner of the church, with patience and perseverance, to endure in this holy calling amidst the neglect or the contumely to which that calling in itself or its lowly and imperfect followers may be exposed, requires a spirituality of mind and heart and soul to which few attain. And then the world, in a more specious and successful form of religion or morality, or a more popular form of enterprise in behalf of both, seeks and gains the attention. For it is a lamentable feature in the history of the Church that it is a corruption or a misapplication of religious and moral truth that has silently, stealthily drawn off more of her sons than the assaults of paganism or infidelity. Thus the adherents of truth consent to receive an influence from those to whom they should have communicated it, received laws from those to whom they should have given them, and go heart and soul in enterprises they never would have originated themselves, which never have originated in the Church, and led them to a series of measures, dividing the efforts and perpetuating the disunion of the Church of God. Hence, should such a union be sought as may bring the friends of truth into one band, into the service of the Most High, according to his truth and laws. A vast train of dependents, associates, and connections in various forms are to be consulted, and a preponderating, nay, an overwhelming influence of worldly wealth or credit or attachments weighs down, oppresses, and destroys. It is remarkable how easily the mind may be diverted from its attachment to and from the zealous pursuit of the truth, yet how conspicuously a feature that truth forms in the true character of the Church and in its union and its unity. The ponderous volumes which have descended to the present age, embracing the writings of the Fathers and the heroes of the Reformation, with all who intervened and have succeeded since, all these are composed of elaborate statements and commentaries, treatises, and systems, exhibiting and vindicating the doctrines of Christianity. Such was eminently the character of the writings of the Reformers. How small a part of their writings that have descended to us, and are now considered as documents recording and perpetuating the faith of the Church of God, indicating its existence and its course, how small a part of these are occupied in the minor, temporary, or local concerns of the age. They have a ubiquity and perpetuity of character that makes them the same in all ages and in all places in the esteem of the pious. The taste of the present age looks upon them with disrelish, and that very circumstance, indicates the worldly spirit which prevails to a lamentable extent in the visible Church. The mighty intellects which in Calvin, Luther, Beza, Turretin, Owen, Vitzius, and a host of divines in Great Britain and on the continent of Europe devoted themselves to the investigation of the pure doctrines of the Scriptures as ministers of the gospel of Christ, find few to relish the spiritual entertainment they have provided, and few to imitate the example they have left in their writings. And yet such was the character of those eminent ministers, and such the state of the Church, when it made the nearest approximation to real union and real communion in divine truth and holy ordinances, while there was enough even then to lament in disunion and strife. It is certain the writings of these great and holy men, widely separated in time and place and circumstances as the writers were, exhibit in a most wonderful manner the true unity of the Church, and teach us how that unity is to be at last attained, as they, not by fighting in detail, but by opening the whole battery of divine truth upon the walls of their enemies, formed a real union in effort, and enjoyed in an eminent degree real communion in the spirit, service, and worship of God. So when a brighter consummation of such union and communion is to be at last attained, the means of divine truth will be brought into action. The minds of the ministry will be made to bear upon and to exhibit the whole glorious and stupendous system of divine revelation. The prophets, however widely scattered on the walls of Zion, shall see eye to eye and shall sing together. The brightness of the Messiah's coming shall in one vast and combined volume of light, poured upon the churches and the nations through the medium of a reanimated and reunited ministry, disperse his foes and bring salvation. No paltry, worldly influence or worldly device will then distract or divert the attention, nor worldly show or delight absorb their affections. But now, alas, the church visible is, to a great extent, approximating to a worldly sanctuary, if it is not already one. The witnesses for the truth are few and scattered. An influence which withers almost everything like zeal for the truth in its purity has spread its sickly influence far and wide. Few inquire, what is truth? Fewer still buy and sell it not. Yea, the very efforts made for the union of the church and the communion of her members contemplate as essential to their success the prostration, the suppression, or the neglect of the truth and laws of God. In such a condition of things, it is evident, or probable at least, that such union and communion as God requires and approves are yet distant as to any extensive application of them to the visible church. And it becomes the friends of truth in the churches of the Reformation to be the more circumspect in preserving what they hold of the doctrine and order of the house of God, and to strengthen the things that remain. Diligence, wisdom, and fidelity in the propagation and maintenance of divine truth in its purity can never militate against or indeed delay the ultimate union of the people of God, or interfere with the cultivation of that charity which rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. And each, in his respective sphere, so employed, may do more for such a holy and happy consummation than by rashly embarking in projects for communion, which may be attended with a dereliction from the truth of God, and breaking down the comely order of his house.